streets is turning point like a carousel. Yes, Honda King, paint the picture, Norman Rockwell.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, it's your fam, it's your guy, none other than Bright the MC. And today, I have a special guest hailing all the way from the 6. The NME.
Yes.
What's up, my guy?
Good to be here, man. I'm good to be here. Thank you for having me, man.
Likewise, man. Likewise, bro. So, off top, man, you know, I like to share my appreciation and gratitude for your skill and your craft, your creativity.
I appreciate that.
One thing I notice about you, you're not lacking in confidence, but you're not cocky or arrogant.
No. Always gotta be confident.
You're confident and your work speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of cats go out there and say they can put up 50 points a night when you ain't seen them hit a jumper.
Yeah.
So yeah, that talks about your delivery, man. So let's go back. Let's go back, right? So I do a lot of research, man, and let's talk about this right here. This right here. You know what I'm saying? So what inspired that, man? How you know what's up with that one?
So initially, I got an opportunity to be featured in that magazine, Fresh Magazine, and they asked for photos to do the cover and then like the inside story and things like that, right? So I actually went into the photo shoot. I wanted to do something different, and for me, I thought, like, in hip hop, you see a lot of rappers, you know, flashing cash and everything, and I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. That's not me. That's not my personality. But also, too, I was like, what can I do that's the opposite? You know, kind of like anti-establishment type of thing. So I said, okay, you know what? If I go on there with money and I'm burning money, right, that would be kind of cool visually, because it'd be like he's burning money. Like, some people may say, oh, this guy has money to burn. But for me, it was more the idea of, like, you remember in the Batman movie Joker with Heath Ledger, where he had the pile of money and he burned it.
And he burned it, exactly.
And the one drug dealer was flipping. He's like, what's going on? And then the Joker was like, he's like, all you care about is money, right? And he burned it. And that always spoke to me. So I thought, man, that would be cool to do that, especially in hip hop, where it would come off as the opposite. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be the same thing as everybody else. So, like, that's where the concept came from, and still looking fly, but just wanted to do that. You know, like, that was the added piece that I felt would take it over the top.
Man, so I know that you started in the 2000s, and you know, you're a veteran, and the reason I say that, because your skill set is like on a level where you would see guys where they should be, like the Nas's, you know, the cats like that, man, the Big L's, and you know, you definitely, from where you started and progressed to where you are now, you always been ahead of the curve.
I appreciate that, man.
So
you did your research, man. He did his research. That's sick.
Always, bro. And let's talk about some of your earlier works, right? So one of your first, you know, first things that you ever dropped. Okay, let's go back to that time and that era, and the way the music was at that time. Even then, you sounded different. So what was your motivation, or what made you want to be different from what the music sounded like then?
For me, I think I always felt like, again, I didn't grow up on like 80s hip hop. I went back and listened to it, but in that time, it was really big to be different. You know what I mean? Everyone that came in was like, you got to be different. So if you go back to like Public Enemy, different. You know, Big Daddy Kane, different. Rakim, different, right? So when I got into it, and guys like Nas, Eminem, Big L, Tupac had passed away already, but I was definitely like into a lot of Tupac. They all had their own identity, right? So for me, listening to that, I was automatically kind of infused in that to be different. You know what I mean? Like, it was at a time where all those MCs brought something differently to the table. So I absorbed all of that. So I didn't come out like today, you know what I mean? So that's why I took that with me from what I listened to before. And I guess that influenced me and inspired me to be different, because I always felt like if everyone was saying the same thing, if you were in a situation, like I came up under ciphering and like, you know, rap battles and things like that. So if you were in a cipher and you said the same thing, same type of content, you probably get overlooked in that cipher. You know what I mean? Like if everyone's like, one guy gun busting here, the next guy gun busting here, and then you come in and you're using like lyrical acrobatics, you're using metaphors.
Right.
It would be different. You would stand out, and I would find that earlier on, like when I would do ciphers and things like that, I was using multi-syllables because again, I grew up on guys like Nas, Eminem, Big L, and right. I would take that initially into in the beginning. It's like that's your training wheels, you know. So for me, exactly. Big L, Tupac, and Eminem, like that would be my training wheels. So when I came in, if you put those three together as an example earlier on, your style is going to be naturally different. You know, like it's going to come off as different because those three guys are different, you know? So if you kind of mold that a little bit, you're initially going to you're going to come off as different towards like what everyone else is doing. So that's kind of what inspired me, just to do it differently so you'd always stand out, you know? It was easier to stand out that way.
And your delivery is so effortless, you know?
Thank you.
It's natural. And that's one thing that MC appreciates about another MC. He doesn't stumble.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing, like a lot of cats can rhyme, and one thing I could never do, like if I freestyle, I freestyle like I wrote it. Like a lot of cats like, man, you know what I'm saying? So I had that fluidity. And so I noticed that about you. You're very fluent in that. And speaking of, you know, spitting fire, bro, you know what I'm saying? We always got stuff like
God bless him, because
this,
when he's blacking, no bars lessen. Thoughts full of slaughter, I butcher him, rappers cross-dressing. Unsurpassed, regardless of how you slice it. I'd rather carve in the gimmicks and make what's vintage enticing. My shit's acknowledged, this grit'll demolish what you pushing. Cause I'm the rap what Christopher Wallace is to Brooklyn. I got a knack for moving brash and spilling blatant. My foul style's an indication the skill is flagrant. Illest flow in my...
Ooh. Even me looking at that, I'm like, damn. Yeah. See, that's the thing with like, again, with the verse like that, for me, that's like years of practicing. Again, like you said, the fluidity. A lot of things some MCs look over is like the enunciation, right? Like I really was big on that in the beginning because I came up in a time where when you rapped, again, whether it was on beat or off beat, like they needed to hear what you were saying, you know, because you could say, again, especially when you're using syllables and like you're rhyming different things like that together with wordplay, the average listener, their ear doesn't catch that. So you got to be as clear as possible. So when they do hear those lines connect, they know something like hype is going on. You know what I mean? For the average listener, they know, they're like, wow, this guy's actually really rapping and he's actually doing it in a certain way that I might not have heard from somebody, you know, local or whatever the case may be at that time.
And Buster does it better than anyone.
For sure, you know, for sure. Effortless, for sure.
So I stumbled upon this one too. So I was going back and I was doing some research and I found this one right here, right?
Yeah.
Top Artist 2021.
Yeah.
Breakthrough Artists. So let's get into this. So I noticed that, you know, going back, and I just found out about your music the last few months, you know.
Nice.
And I went back and I started watching your videos.
Yeah. I kind of know where this is going. That's sick.
I'm gonna add this video, and I don't have it yet, but I'm gonna add the video in here and show the people, bro. You so dope, bro. And
thank you, man. Thank
you. Your mindset, you can tell when someone's connected to their create. Like you can draw the blueprint, you can put it in play, and you can develop what you thought. You know what I'm saying? So when you paint those pictures with those words, and then your videos match what you saying, it helps the artist, like, and it helps the listener visualize what you saying. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So that's a dope tone and a rich quality to have, bro. So I want to play a game with you.
All right.
We're gonna play a game. This first game ever. I can play this game with you because you quick with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is good. Let's do this.
We're gonna call this flashcards. All right.
All right.
So when you see an MC, you see an artist, give me the first word that comes to your mind. All right?
Yeah. Poet.
Okay.
Innovative MC.
Yeah.
Conscious. Witty. Pioneer. Flawless.
Yes.
Super creative. Ahead of his time. There you go.
Yeah.
Flawless. Innovative. Pioneer.
Yeah.
Super duper pioneer and legend.
Yeah, I threw the females in there quick at you. What about this cat?
Okay, you know what? Greatest ever, man. I gotta say it. Greatest ever. Like, I gotta do it. You know? Yeah. I gotta put myself in there. But you know, again, like, it's the confidence thing. It's not me being cocky or anything like that. It's just having ultimate, like, supreme confidence in yourself. You know what I mean?
So what that was is that's a training exercise like the military used to use.
Oh wow.
When they got ready to take some soldiers into combat, they would do these mental tests, aptitude tests, where they'll flash these things in front of them to see where they are.
Yeah,
and when they brought a picture of the person back to them, then if they don't put themselves, if you have to think to put yourself in the same light, then automatically you know it's not in you.
Yeah.
You didn't have that problem.
Exactly. See, the thing is with me, like, I really work on my mindset, you know, like all the time, like inside and outside of rap. I always do that. And one thing that I always picked up on was, it was a jewel that I got, not personally from 50 Cent, but I watched in the video, and he said rappers train themselves like boxers mentally, you know. And at the time, I didn't fully understand that, because like I you know, dabbled in watching boxing and things like that. But yeah, there you go. There you go, doing the rolls. I can't even roll straight. Like, I need to do that straight, but I'm trying to get the jump right.
You got a good bass though. I noticed you got, you know what I'm saying, that your bass is good, you know what I'm saying? So the way you were setting yourself up.
Yeah. So like the thing is, what I was saying was with like the mental training and things like that, I think with rappers, I mean, some people beg to differ, but I think personally, a lot of rappers do train themselves like that. You know, you feel like you're the best in everything, and you put yourself in a situation like that. Like when you were throwing up the flashcards, if I'm not putting myself there, if I'm not saying I'm the greatest or whatever, it's like one of those things where maybe I don't belong to be in that, you know, category. If I can't attract that, you know, if I'm not saying that or I'm not believing that. So like, that's really what that is for me. Like, I truly believe in myself, and I urge MCs or anybody in whatever you do to feel like you're the best. Like, you don't have to go and step on anyone's toes or anything, but you definitely have to feel you're the greatest so you can show up, you know?
And you know, I was gonna ask you, so I noticed you incorporate the martial arts, right? So martial arts, I found out, is more mental than physical.
Oh, absolutely.
So does that help you with your regimen, help you with your thought process, and does it help you with your endurance and breath control?
You know what's interesting? So funny you asked that, because I think it actually is the reverse, because I started doing martial arts a little bit more dedicated now when I was older. You see what I'm saying? So I never did it as a kid, right? I should have. I wish I would have. But like, I never did it as a kid. And all my training in hip hop mentally, I think, prepared me when I started to do martial arts, because when we do like full on sparring and things like that, I would go in sometimes, and even if I'm not, like, I'm going against somebody that's a little more experienced, like in my mind, I'm like, you're dope at this. Like, you know, you're going to land something. Like, just trying to put myself in there, because like, again, at the end of the day, I got to go in. Like, if you're going to get hit and everything like that, you know, you don't want to flare up or whatever, right? So
you got to be ready for it.
Exactly. So I think hip hop definitely instilled confidence in that mentality in me. So I think I have it's a little bit easier for me to engage and do martial arts. Even though I'm still learning, it's easier for me to go in there and say, okay, you know what? I can go in and try this and do this and be confident in something like sparring. You know what I mean? Even if I know, okay, this guy's going to lay me out right now, but I can go in there and be like, do it. Whereas some people, if they've never done something long enough and develop the confidence towards it, getting in something that's physical may be super scary for them, you know? So for me, hip hop, it's like, I'm not involved in any violence in hip hop, but the mentality is very assertive. When you go into the industry, when you go into ciphers, when you're on stage, you have to display a level of confidence in all those environments. You know what I mean? So I think hip hop has helped martial arts, but I do think the breath control, I think it is helping. But one of the things I did when I was younger too was I learned it from Outkast, was they would run around the field while saying their lyrics, you know? So I did that a couple of times, and I would focus on these things and breath control as well. So I'm sure it's helping though. Boxing classes is probably definitely helping more than I realized so far, right? But I definitely
and you gotta have breath control when you're at an altitude, you know.
And with the lacking, I've been a trap with a spitter's passion. Prime pin assassin, to chicken scratching, the image slashing. Illa snapping, y'all catch a break, not for living gnashing, but for kissing ass for a single sale just to get a fraction. Salute the GOAT, my foot on these rappers' throats. No cap, I snap back with this dope, y'all catch a dose.
That verse, by the way, like, I love that verse. It was actually written for, I don't want to say rap contest, but it was like rap challenge online. Yeah. A person I know, shout out to Terrell Blair, really good guy in hip hop, really for the culture. He had asked me and like a bunch of followers, he was just like, yo, drop a verse on this beat. It's the artist he's managing. And at first I didn't want to do it because I'm not big for like contests and things like that. You know what I mean? Right. Like you're winning something. But then the way he presented it was like, yo, just show up and like lay your shit. Like, you know what I mean? And I wrote that verse. And for me, because what I started focusing on too is like a lot of, even though I've always connected the syllables, trying to do it longer throughout the verse. You know what I mean? Trying to do it longer and flipping it in different ways. So that, like, I really appreciate that verse because it comes, I can tell when something's a little more smoother and it's like growth, you know, from what I did before or whatever.
And I could tell one thing about it. You, one thing you did display was a transition.
Yeah.
So the way you set up each line, they all connected. You know what I'm saying? So I studied that. I went back and listened to it a few times. So
appreciate it, man.
I incorporated. So
let's
talk
L,
about
man. That's Big L, yo. That's Big L. You know,
Big L was Flamboyant was a classic.
Yeah, like Big L. Like, he's one of the rappers that when a friend of mine told me, because a friend was like, yo, you like Eminem, you'll love Big L. He's like, you'll really love Big L. And I remember hearing Big L and being like, what the fuck? That he has a line, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna try to flub it, but he said, what was it? Suckers, I'm a sticky star, breaking up and taking it to heart. You better believe that Big L is the man to be ripping the microphones apart. That fucking line.
Yeah, that's in I think what was that, 95?
Freestyle or something like that. Yeah, like it's a radio, Stretch and Bobbito, I think. It's a freestyle he did on theirs, but I don't know if it was from a song though. You know,
I think it was like 95 or something like that.
Yeah, I think 95 Stretch and Bobbito freestyle. But that for like that verse, and then just in general, like how he transitions in different things. I think that guy was like super ahead of his time.
I'm gonna tell you who M always acknowledged in somewhat of an influence. Master Ace.
Yeah, yo, I was literally thinking that as you said it. I was like, yo, but I'm not gonna cut you. I was like, let me see if he says it. Master Ace is a super influence on Eminem, but Master Ace is still dope to this day. Like he dropped stuff like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah. And you know who else? You know who else I love to listen to? He dope as hell too. Cool Keith.
Yeah. God, man. He's like, again, these guys, but you have to understand too, like these guys are like legends that I don't think ever stopped. They just might have not been in the spotlight, but they never stopped doing their thing. So if they come out with something and you hear it and it's like this, it's like they never stopped writing that.
So one of the interviews I watched, I saw that when it was the I don't want to mess up, but I know that they asked you about, they found out where you was from, right?
Yeah.
And they got to name an artist like Drake and Tory Lanez, not the only one. And so watching that, I watched your mannerisms. I watched your whole expression. It changed quick as hell. It changed, but it's something like, and I know you done seen it a bunch of times, right? Because this is your interview.
Yeah.
I want you to go back and I want you to watch your expression.
Okay.
And have like some click, you know what I'm saying? and then you was like you can't be mentioned in the same breath. Like the city's mine just as much, you know what I'm saying? And that's, you got to have that, because they won't respect you if you don't respect yourself as somebody great.
Yeah. I think that was the Power 105 interview, right?
Power 105, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So see, the thing is, what was interesting, I want to give a little bit of like backstory to that. Like when we walked in, New York's a really tense like environment. Yeah, and it's not like they hate you or nothing like that. It's just the energy and demeanor of like New Yorkers. Right. You know what I mean? It's more aggressive, more assertive. So we get in the station and no one was really saying anything. So in my head, I'm sitting there and I'm like, should I just be like, hey man, what's going on? But it didn't seem like anyone was really talkative. And then when we got to the interview, everything was great. We were getting to the interview, and I felt like, again, not attacked or anything like that. I loved the interview. I felt like they're not like really familiar with too many artists out of Toronto outside of Drake and Tory Lanez.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. And that's
on the weekend. Yeah.
Exactly. So like what I felt too is maybe in general they might have felt like, who is this guy? I was okay with that because I love that, because it gives me an opportunity, because I know they're maybe not taking me seriously. So what I have in the chamber, what I'm about to lace on the mic, all 16 bars, and that's it. Like for me, right? So that's why I guess with the energy, my face, like something clicked where I was like, okay, you know what? Wait till they hear me.
I seen like a mechanism or something, like something transition like quick, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Almost like the spider senses.
Yeah, that's how it is when you're an MC. Like it clicks, right? Like
yeah. I'm ready to go off the fly, but you know, looking back at that, you know what I'm saying? I thought about, you know, speaking of New York and speaking of things like that, like, you know, this, like whenever you do things like this, it shows your growth, man, getting on billboards and everything, which is a good thing. So let's talk about Shade 45, Sway.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
You didn't think I was gonna get into that, but then let's
do that. I like your format, man. You go everywhere with it, but you keep everything within the context of the rapper, right? Like I like that.
Yeah, bro. It's something I would want somebody to ask me. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man. Let's bro. What was it? What was the atmosphere like? What was it like, man? First off, congratulations on all your success, bro.
Thank you.
Your continued success, bro. I think you changing the game, the landscape up there, like. You know, I when I think of you as an artist, before we get into Shade, I think about like Cardinal, Socrates. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of cats don't know that the Six has some lyrical cats.
Yeah, there's a lot
before Drake and a lot of cats like look at Drake is not like a lyrical MC like that though. You know what I'm saying? The cats don't realize that. You know, it's a difference between Drake and J. Cole. You feel me? It's a big ass gap, but Drake is an entertainer. But I notice what you have all the quality, all the intangibles. So let's get into Shade, bro. Let's talk about Sway. So what was that like?
So I had gotten, at the time I was working with I think it was a marketing agency, you know, like low key one, and the woman that worked there I was dealing with, she said that she had to connect to Shade 45 for a freestyle, right? So we're not where I appeared, but I think Sway wanted something to introduce the show or something like that at the time, right? Yeah. So I asked her when was the turnaround time, you know, and she's like, if you could just get it as soon as possible, like that'd be great. You know what I mean? It's not like you don't have really like 2 days. It's kind of like now, you know? So I was like, okay, cool. What about the beat? Because that's the thing too, right? Like when you're going with radio and things like that, can you have someone else's beat? Can it be an original beat? So she's like, just rap on something, right? So I went and found some beat online that I just recently found out wasn't somebody's beat. I think it was like a remake or something of some other beat. And I looped that in the Pro Tools or whatever. And I think I just was thinking of the verse. It might have taken me, to be honest with you, like 12 hours, right? Because I really wanted something that was shouting him out, shouting all the people out. So I went online, checked the research, looked who was the host at the time. He had it was him, Heather B, and a couple other people.
Heather B.
Actually, you know what? I don't know if Heather B was on at that time. It was some other, Devi Dev was one of them.
Yeah, Heather B came later.
Yeah, so it was before Heather B. And I remember putting all this stuff together, and I was like, okay, cool. Because again, as an MC, I know what punchlines would hit. And I was like, if I say these at this time, if I say this at the breakdown, this will get a good reaction. And funny enough, because being in Toronto, I didn't have access to Shade 45 because I think you need the device at the time. It wasn't
you needed the device, exactly.
And I was running around like this city trying to find somebody who had it in their car. Right? I was like, yes. Couldn't find anybody. But at the time, I was working also with DJ Whiteout. Rest in peace. He passed away.
Yeah, DJ Whiteout. He gave you a great opportunity. You jumped me, but I was definitely going to shout out to DJ Whiteout.
He actually told me that he heard it. Like he heard Sway play it, and he's like, "Yo, it got a good reaction." And I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Did you get like a recording of it? Something, right?" He's like, "I didn't." But funny enough, I had a friend who heard it, and another person heard it a couple of times. They sent it to me like when they were filming it on their car. Like they heard and they're like, yo, you were on Sway today. Sway, I think, played it a couple times after, you know, for a few years, I think it was played periodically throughout his show.
Yes, so yeah, shout out to, you know, DJ White Owl, man, the opportunity, man. So what happened? Did DJ White Owl, did he hear it or something?
So yeah, White Owl heard it on Shea 45, and we were working on a mixtape at the time. I think we had just finished it, and he heard it. He heard Sway play it, so he confirmed that he played it, which I was happy about. I was like, okay, well, I didn't get to hear it live. I would have loved to hear it live, but I was like, as long as it was played, right? So that was. Right. I grew up on like the Wake Up Show, you know, Sway and Tech, and guys like MC Juice, Supernatural, and all that stuff. So like for me, that was super. That was just like fulfilling for me as a hip hop head, you know, to have someone like Sway play a free, and it was a freestyle at that, you know what I mean? It was just a freestyle that introduced the show, so I was happy about that for sure. All
right, so I want to talk about the new single, man.
Yeah.
So what's the inspiration behind that, bro? So what's the deal with the single, man? And, you know, give me a backstory on it and where we are now with it.
So that verse, I actually had that verse sitting for a while, right? Older version recorded, and it just didn't come out on the original song. So what happened was, I was for a long time, man, going back and forth listening to it, and I was like, man, I should do something with this, you know? Like I get really attached to my art, like, you know, in my lyrics, like I just get attached to it. So I was like, man, this is sitting here, and I was like, I don't know. And I'm not gonna lie to you, for a couple of years, I actually went back and forth with it, right? And I was talking to some friends, and I was like, man, what if I redo the beat? I have John redo the beat, and we do something. And they're like, some people were like, oh, whatever, maybe, I don't know. And then someone was like, I don't know, I would try to maybe re-record it, you know what I mean? Because my tone was different back then. Like, it was more in the 2013 type of vibe tone, right? So I remember hooking up with John Bonus, and I was like, yo, I got this verse, and I was thinking getting Duncan on it, because we had talked about doing some new music, and I was like, man, this would be perfect for him to get on this one, and we could just redo the beat around my acapella kind of thing, you know? So he redid it, and while he built it up, I started to listen to my verse, and I was like, man, I gotta re-record this, like with the new, like how I sound now, you know what I mean? To make it fresh.
The new delivery, yeah.
It was gonna be the flow, but I was like, man, I would feel like, I wouldn't feel right if I didn't do that, you know what I mean? I would feel like, man, I should have did that, and it comes.
You didn't give it that touch.
Exactly, and it comes to a point like, what if 10 years from now I'm like, man, what if I had done that? You know what I mean? I don't want to be that person, right? So I was like, let me just laid it down, and we spent a lot of time going back and forth with the beat. Sent it to Duncan, he sent it back, and then we finalized it. And funny enough, when I released like even the preview, people like gravitated towards it like right away. And I was like,
okay. I know I did too.
I appreciate that, man.
I did. Especially on IG, it hit big numbers. So
yeah, for sure. Like, and that's what's thing. Like, again, not that I was like surprised, but I was more like, damn, like people, they just enjoy something that's good. You know what I mean? Like, if you do it right, that's all that matters, right? And if you're doing it efficiently, that's what matters the most, right? It does, like, as artists, we get so caught up in like the little like intricacies or whatever of our art, right? So maybe we're like, oh, the tone's off, or like I didn't rap this word a certain way, but the average person, they hear it with the right beat and everything, and it comes together. I think it's like money still.
They're not as critical as we are, because we are our own worst critics, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so I want you to introduce this, Joan.
Yeah.
So go ahead and introduce it.
What's going on? As Bright the MC said, it's the NME live in full effect. This is my new single, Fighter, featuring Duncan, produced by John Bonus. Because they do more.
Wanna be saying that I'm a fighter. Never quit, there's no right to get violent. Got a bad bitch, yeah, she a rider. I ain't never gonna give up, no, it's decided. I never give up. You're pressing your luck, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Y'all doing too much, there's no slowing down. You better get up. You better get tough, I'll reach out and touch. I'll reach out and touch. Yeah. Feeling up, not down, on the ground. Yeah, I swear I'm full of wind now. Ain't trying to simmer down, cause I've been around at 51. In real time, what I dealt, I ain't smelt once. Read between the lines as I fast forward from the past and reminisce how I just came this far. The heartache had me risk, not restart. No, wasn't meant to fail here, yeah, real talk. And the cards I was dealt, cuz never helped much till I came through with such willpower. Couldn't let life ill shower me. That would mean I was destined to devour and treat trials like they ain't a thing and spread my wings. Shit, how I hate to think everything I've been through wasn't cool, can't front. If I still dwelled on my dad's death, I wouldn't be sane. What?
Wouldn't be saying that I'm a fighter. Never quit this, no breath to get violent. Got a bad bitch, yeah, yeah, she about it. I ain't never gonna give up, no, it's decided. I never give up. You're pressing your luck, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Y'all doing too much, there's no slowing down. You better get up. You better get tough, I'll reach out and touch. I'll reach out and touch, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got that fight like it's NME. Ain't none to fuck with, I guess we'll take now. Keep it out your mouth, don't be saying yeah, my name. Tell me that we're like we are not the same now. I'm out in overdrive, but I'm not out of luck. I need to meditate, I need to readjust. Tell me to slow it down, think I should speed it up. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, I just don't give a fuck. Wouldn't be saying that I'm a fighter. Never quit this, no breath to get violent. Got a bad bitch, yeah, yeah, she about it. I ain't never gonna give up, no, it's decided. I never give up. You're pressing your luck, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Y'all doing too much, there's no slowing down. You better get up. You better get tough, I'll reach out and touch. I'll reach out and touch, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Standing ovation. Yeah.
Beat knock, track knocker, chorus perfected, verse.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Flawless 10 out of 10.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
That's gonna blow my playlist up.
I appreciate that. Like I said, man, it's fulfilling when you put something out and like maybe you were sitting on it, but like again, you put it out. You know what I mean? Like for me, because again, I don't know what it was about that verse or whatever, but
I want to play that again, but I'm man, these songs is wanging.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, that's what's up, bro. I appreciate that energy, bro. That's something different. It's different.
Yeah,
it's hella different, bro.
I appreciate that. Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? It goes again with the rap style of it, right? Like for me, I didn't get away from rapping, you know, because like one of those things I've realized is in this era, I don't know if so many people feel like they want to rap, you know. Some do, some really stick to that and they're like, I want to rap, but some people are like, you know, I want to be more melodic, and for me that's just not my style, you know what I mean? But what I do is, okay, you know what, when you do a record like that, you can give them both, you know what I mean? Like I don't sing, but I can, like Duncan does, and then or other artists I might work with, they have that, you know, they can fulfill that void.
Duncan dope.
Yeah, he was really good, man. He was on, we did the record, the first record we did together was Bad AF. Right? Yeah. And that one, like, was really, like our chemistry is, like, super solid. You know what I mean? I think we're, like, natural. And we were, like, again, we were in the studio, I think, for 2 songs out of the 3 that we did. We weren't in the studio for Fighter, right? But, again, still able to put it together, right? Because I think chemistry's there, so.
All right. I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah, shoot.
Titles at you. Throw some titles at you, all right? And I want you to tell me your mindset.
Yes.
Raw. Let's talk about the album.
Okay. So, do you want me to go into detail or just whatever comes to mind?
Come to mind. Give me something, you know what I'm saying?
Super lyrical, super in your face, super confident, and I would say raw, no pun intended.
Yeah, the first one I heard from you was Winning at the Races.
Oh shit, okay, nice.
Yeah, that was the first one. That was the first one.
Yeah.
When I researched and everything, Winning at the Races came up, which is kind of current. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, of course, absolutely. Yeah.
Used to be. Let's talk about the album art. So I was trying to figure out what's the deal with the album art.
So what I was trying to do was I was trying to give different emotions on that in terms of the visual. You know what I mean? Like overall, the record is more like of a regretful type of record. But I was trying to give like those, I guess you could say conflicting emotions in the cover art. You know what I mean? Like in the song, I'm explaining a regretful person and things like that, and someone that feels sorry for things that they did. But then, you know, even though some people do that, there's still that little minute emotion there that maybe when they did stuff, whatever.
And I noticed that album was reflective.
Yeah, for sure.
So what was like? So if you would think your mindset, which you just explained, going into that album, what was your going into that? What was in that project? What was your approach? Did you like? Did you come in with an objective, or you just let everything take its course?
Are you talking for the single Used to Be?
Yeah, for Used to Be. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm saying like when you did that project,
yeah.
Did you approach it like this is gonna be it, or like you just let the melodies, the music speak to you or draw you in, and you just put out what it gave you?
I was in the studio with John, and I think I wanted to do something that was a little bit more crossover, but again, not in the sense of like trying to sell out, but because I'm a fan of music too, right? In general, like MC first, but obviously a fan of music. So I wanted to do something that was a little bit more conceptual, and that one started with the chorus. You know, there's a lot of time spent on the chorus by Fee. She goes by Fee. Her name's Sophie, but she goes by Fee, and like her writing was what dictated what I wrote in my lyrics. You know what I mean? Right. So like, yeah, the chorus came first, and then I kind of like just figured out where do I want to go with this? How can I like explain this type of thing? You know, and just kind of expound on the concept of being regretful and things like that.
Untouchable.
Oh, okay, untouchable.
Two words.
2 words.
I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna tell you.
2 words. You go.
2 syllables already.
Yeah.
On the way.
On the way. Oh, okay. I love. Okay, 2 syllables for that. I would say on the way. Dope. I hate using this word. Not dope. I hate using swag, but dope swag. I'm gonna use swag for this one.
Okay, but I'm gonna skip some. I'm gonna go. I smell blood.
Oh, that one. Okay, so that project, and if you just want to say overall project, that was just me snapping on beats and trying to show off my rap skills. Like, you know, like that's what really that was. And it kind of the title for me going into that, right? I kind of was looking at it from the mindset of I feel like I'm a dope lyricist, and everybody else is like food in this game for me right now. It's like I'm a shark that smells blood, right? And I'm going for that. And that's like the approach on the beats and things, you know? That's how I approached it.
Out in the morning.
Out in the morning. Okay, that one.
I watched that video like 10 times, bro.
Oh, sick. I appreciate that. So Out in the Morning was, Out in the Morning, it started with...
Who was the female in the video, bro?
Oh, what was her name? Her name was, oh my God, Andrea. The director knew her, right? Like, they had to go through a bunch of girls, and he had to lie to her, I think, about the video. He's like, yeah, it's like, and I get it, right? But I think there was like 3 women that were suggested to be contacted, and they heard the song, they're like, fuck no. They're like, no. They were like, fuck out of here. We ain't doing that, right? She was
yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing: something like that probably would not happen to her because she was a martial artist, right? So like she could handle herself.
Right.
It was all good, like, you know.
She can handle it all.
But yeah, like the inspiration for that record, that started off with obviously the song, and funny enough, you know what inspired that song? 50 Cent's "You Should Be Here" on 50 Cent Is the Future. The record he did on the Raphael Sadiq beat. I heard that and I was like, man, I want to do something like that, but I can't pull it off like him. You know what I mean? I got to do it like with my kind of sick humor.
How fast will you drive?
Oh, you know what? You're gonna laugh at this, right? So at that time, I didn't fully know how to drive. He had to give me a lesson on set. The director, Tony, he had to give me a lesson on set, and because I was like, I told him, I was like, look, I don't drive, so he just thought, oh, he doesn't have his license, right? So we get on set, literally, he's like, all right.
Wait, stop.
Yeah.
So
this is real. This is a real story.
So you just started driving about 7 years ago?
No. Like, I still to this day, like this is breaking news. I can't drive to this day. Like I just got my G1 in Toronto, like legit. I take the like out here we take the public transit, right? So it's all good, right? So I never really worried about that. But it's funny because when we were on set, I had told him initially before set actually. I said, look, I can't drive, so you want me to do like how are we doing this? He said, no, don't worry. Like he's like, it's cool. So he's thinking, oh, he doesn't have his license. So we go to like an open road in I think it was in Burbank, California.
Burbank, yeah.
Yeah, so we go to this open road. He's like, you're good here. It's like long road back and forth. You know, he's like,
and you can't wreck.
Yeah, it's like, look, it's like one car. It's literally one car driving up and down per hour. You know, so he's like, all right, yo, get in the car, turn it around, and we'll start that way. And I was like, no, you don't get it, dude. Like, I can't drive. He's like, you don't know how to drive. Like, actually, and I was like, no. So he gives me a quick lesson, and honestly, it wasn't too bad. Like, I did okay, you know.
You was enjoying the hell out of it. I can tell you that.
I was. Listen. That was. I'm not gonna even lie to you. That was for up to this day, right? That was probably the most fun experience because it was like doing something you love, rap, but you're not rapping like just some like bubblegum shit. You're rapping some hardcore. Yeah. That's crazy shit. I love it.
It's edgy. It's very edgy. But you know one thing I always realize, and this one I love, and I take away from meeting artists. No matter what their content is, you got to find out what's reflective about them. You know, you got to find out who they are as an individual.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people thought Ozzy Osbourne was an ass. You know what I'm saying? They thought, like, a lot of people think Ozzy was real mean and brute. You know what I'm saying? But Ozzy was like a down-to-earth guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's just it, bro. I got to meet Stan Lee in Nashville, Tennessee one day. I stopped at a rest area. Nice. And I got to meet Stan Lee, and this guy didn't know who he was. Stan Lee gave me his autograph. He passed like years, like maybe 5 years later. But he was such a nice guy. And he was so humble and is cordial about how he, you know, talked to people. Absolutely. But that's it, bro. I really enjoy your music, bro. I'm definitely gonna listen to more of it. I've heard a lot of it, you know, the last week.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Like, honestly, I always say, man, that I'm always appreciative of people who genuinely listen to my songs and things like that. And
I critique the hell out of them.
No, I appreciate that. Like I said, I love, like, for me, I'm never offended by, like, if someone's like, hey, I'm not feeling this or it's not my style, I'm cool with that. Like, I always look at music, to be honest with you, it's kind of like the shoes you wear. You know, some people ain't gonna rock certain things, and it's fine. Like, I'm totally mature and cool with that, right? But I'm always appreciative of people who actually take the time to listen because, again, like you said, the emceeing thing sometimes goes over a lot of people's heads, you know? So it's like, you could be saying some cool shit, but it's just, they're like, a lot of people don't know how to listen to hip-hop. You know?
Exactly. They don't know how to absorb it and interpret it.
Exactly.
And it's expression. You know, it's expression. What if Picasso only used one color? I know you like that one.
I got it. Exactly. No, you're right.
One crayon was like, you know what I'm saying? So we get into the end of the show, bro. I appreciate everything. Let everybody know how they can find you, bro, on all your social media outlets, and just let everybody know how they can find.
Yeah, so you can tap in with me, NME Official, all across the board. NME Official on IG, NME Official on Facebook. If you're into Facebook, I don't know if people are still like doing the Facebook thing, but some are here and there. So NME Official on that, NME Official on Twitter. There you go. And if you want to check out my website, NMEofficial.com.
And the other thing is, man, so right now in the next year, what do you plan on? You know, what is your goal short term?
So short term, I'm working on an EP. I want to have 2 or 3 more songs. Like some of the ones that I have out, I'm gonna include that on the EP. So that's something important that I want to do. And then, you know, I want to do, if I'm being honest with you, I really want to do a hardcore like rap project. You know, even if it's just 4 tracks, but just more rap. Like I just want to snap on just like some rapping because I feel like that's.
I want to get on one of them tracks and vent.
Yeah, no, like that. No, we should work something out because like for me, I wanna really. I feel like that's a defining thing for me, just having something like all like how raw is, you know what I mean? Yeah, like I said, with me, man, anything that inspires me, I'm always like cool to be doing. But yeah, that's like the goals, the short-term goals. And yeah, like again, releasing more music, but always getting better. My main thing of like this whole hip-hop journey and everything like that is always evolving with my like craft, you know what I mean? Because I used to think that maybe you could master rap, you know what I mean? But I don't think you master rap in your lifetime, you know? Like I don't think
it's ever so evolving, you know what I'm saying? You have to be the one to adapt.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it changes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think like that is a thing where, because I've always thought, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, man, when I was starting out, where I'm at right now in terms of like skill set, right? I couldn't imagine getting that good because it was like starting out. Because you're like, again, you're hearing like people you grew up on. Again, MCs like Big L, man, Big Daddy Kane, like all these guys are doing things that are so far ahead of where they were at, you know, they were ahead of their time, and then you're starting out, you can't imagine doing that, right? So like for me, where I'm at right now, I was like, man, it was always a dream to be that good and be, you know, that dope lyrically. So I'm always just trying to evolve in that respect first, you know what I mean? That's always my first thing. Like if ever I feel like lyrically something's off, I gotta figure that out and work out those things.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how we always do when we get to the end of the show. I pass the mic to you, and I tell you, give everybody some words of encouragement, and end it with "Look on the bright side." The phrase "Look on the bright side." Ladies and gentlemen, I am Bright the MC. We got the enemy, T Native from the north, from the 6th, worldwide representative, man, legend. Bro, hit me with something.
All right, so like words of encouragement, I would say, first and foremost, man, believe in yourself. You know, always have supreme confidence in what you do, even if in the beginning it feels like you're faking it. It's better to just keep putting that out there and putting that in your mind and like developing your mind to have that kind of solid confidence. Because when you do get into situations and you gotta show and prove, if you're mentally there, you're just gonna shine regardless, no matter what anybody says. And you don't have to go and throw it in anyone's face, but to yourself, like in your mind, like keep that solid mindset. Like they'll use those affirmations, say I'm the greatest at this, I'm the best at this, like I'm like, you know, anything you could think of that says like spectacular things about yourself, you know, so your mindset is always strong, and then, you know, you can show and prove when you need to. So I would say that, you know, keep your mind strong and keep working hard and look on the bright side.
Already. All right, everybody, enjoyed y'all. Looking up next week, we got Big V, formerly of the Nappy Roots, coming in. The enemy, my guy.
Thank you, man.
I'll drop a couple bars.
Why not? I'll drop a couple bars. Far from amateur, my style's high caliber spitting, callous when ripping, and that's word to my gallon of writtens. Ain't no signs of being thrown off balance, cause my talent ain't slipping. My raw approach shows the passion is different. Vile like Arthur, venom that my dialect offers will see respectfully. Comb through the record, the verse here's a weapon. The savage type, I ravage these acts, lame ass. Me and rap go together like Vanna White and Pat Sajak. Old fashioned and knife like when I let off. A cut above the rest, sharp wording, a slice your head off. Forever rugged, I punish Lil So-and-so, coquina clutch flow. I'm the hip-hop Samoa Joe. A far cry from novice lines, I let them bars fly. Pardon my ill martyr mind. Psychopath rhyming ain't wired to Palo-Wades raps. Therefore, I'm supplying that fire like a pyromaniac. The enemy. Woo, that was flawless. That was flawless. I love that shit.
Hey, all right, man. Most def. Love y'all, bro.
Thank you for having me, man. Peace.
Come on now. I mean, he also said that there are things that you can do that might bring back some of what you've lost. I mean, we could talk about the good old days, reminisce with old friends. Honey, you have to look on the bright side.
I've had a lifetime of bright sides. I'll just have to learn to do without them.